Dive into the fun world of letters with Sparkle Denae's ABC Word Chase and Coloring Book. Looking for an exciting and educational way to help your little ones explore their ABCs? Look no further. This engaging book not only allows your child to practice tracing the alphabet, but also includes tracing words and coloring fun pictures in between. It's kid-friendly, kid-approved, and the perfect blend of learning and creativity. Get your copy today and watch your child's learning journey light up with joy.
Welcome back to the LifeScope channel. On your way in, be sure to like, share, definitely subscribe. It's appreciated as always. And also, don't forget to support the channel. The Cash App is scrolling on the page below, so be kind, support the channel. I came back on here because this News Nation video is a little bit of a continuation from the first video that I did earlier talking about the unknown woman who was pregnant. Now, I did read some of the article, but when I heard just a snippet of this video, I was like, okay, let me go ahead and just put this out here so that we can all take a listen and look. So let's get right into it, not wasting any time. Let's go.
This week, his attorney told TMZ that Diddy wants to testify at his racketeering and sex trafficking trial. And I, for one, will circle that date whenever it is on my calendar. I bet you will too. So will the many women and one man who've sued Diddy, claiming various forms of sexual abuse and violence. And Diddy might not know it yet, but he could have a lot more lawsuits headed his way. It's been rumored. A lawyer in Houston says he now represents more than 50 people who claim they were sexually assaulted by Combs and his associates.
Okay, let's stop right there. He is possibly going to have 50 additional lawsuits on top of the many that he has already because he has so many right now. I have lost count after the first two or three. But he got about what, 6 or 7 lawsuits going on right now, and you could possibly have an additional 50. And also, is it wise for Diddy to testify? Like, I get he wants to defend himself against the allegations, but would it be wise for him to testify on his behalf? Unless he's going to throw people's names out there that participated in the freak offs, maybe give up a little bit of information, try to get some of that heat off of him. Because at this point, I'm pretty sure Diddy can see some of the writing on the wall. Maybe he has hope, but his lawyer probably said, yeah, you might be doing some time. You're not going to escape getting some sentence. So maybe the more he gives up, the more that they check out through the ongoing investigation, the more people that's pulled in. We don't know who they are and where that road leads. Maybe that will benefit him in the long run as far as his time or his sentence.
And he's planning a class action lawsuit. That's coming down. Separately, a woman known only as Jane Doe filed a lawsuit today accusing Combs of drugging, raping, and impregnating her. She claims that Diddy pushed her to have an abortion, but she suffered a miscarriage first. Another
Okay, so that's the information that I had saw on social media, and it was cut out. So that's what made me even pull up this video to take a look at most of it or all of it. Just depends on what they're talking about in the rest of the video. So it wasn't stated, or unless I did not see it because I didn't read the entire Vibe article, but it was stated that Young Miami allegedly harassed this unknown Jane Doe into getting an abortion. But in this News Nation clip, that still is the same, except for she had a miscarriage beforehand. And I'm just wondering, do she have proof that she was pregnant? Like, did she go to the doctor to back up the pregnancy test? Or after she had took a pregnancy test and found out she was pregnant, maybe she didn't get to the doctor in time and she had the miscarriage in between. Both scenarios are very plausible, but if she didn't get to the doctor in time, besides having a pregnancy test, and keep in mind, you can maybe get a fake pregnancy test, or you could have, someone who's actually pregnant. And I'm just saying this if this was a scam type of thing. I don't know. I'm just putting different scenarios out there. Hopefully nobody is actually doing that. But my point is, if she was pregnant, the Jane Doe, is there some type of proof? Let's keep going.
Their new accuser says that Diddy raped her in 2018 and not at one of his parties or even his own house. I'm joined now by that woman's attorney, Ariel Mitchell Kidd, here in studio with us live tonight in New York. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so a lot to unpack there. We were talking before we got out here on set. Tell us a little bit about your client, of what you can.
Yes. So she reached out to me a few weeks ago after being referred to me by another attorney who knew I had been doing things about this case and had been sounding the horn on Diddy. I've actually sued him in another lawsuit in 2021 in Miami with Trey Songz. So she called me and told me a very horrific story about her assault and her escape from the assault. She told me that she was at a friend's house who had industry ties and was on the phone with Diddy, and he decided to come to the house. And when he came to the house, everything was fine, that there was another woman there who we've determined to be Christina Coram, KK, who Diddy talks about a lot as his like right hand woman, if you will, and that they were discussing sex trafficking her. And then that led to her being served a drink where then she started to feel woozy. And then Mr. Combs sexually assaulted her with an inanimate object.
Okay, let's just stop right there. So, if she was at someone's house who was in the industry, she's talking on the phone with Diddy, and he comes over. I'm just wondering, how did that conversation go? And this is the second new accuser, not the one that was pregnant and had a miscarriage. This is a second new accuser, and this is her attorney. Just restating that. So I'm wondering, how would that work? When he came over, did they start saying something about sex trafficking to her or whatnot? And then they served her a drink, or was it before then? Now I know maybe with some cases you can't share all of the details, but the people want to know. We definitely want to know all of what's going on so that we can determine whether or not we believe this victim. But I will say this, it is hard for people to believe victims. So that is why a lot of them don't come forward. So we just have to use our best judgment, but more importantly, we just have to use the evidence that's presented. So let me play a little more of this, and then I want to skip over to that other clip I was talking to you all about, but in the same interview.
And then actually directed another gentleman to sexually assault her while he watched and pleasured himself. So she was able to escape eventually and ran out into the streets yelling and screaming. And a neighbor heard her because this happened in a quiet suburban neighborhood, if you
So there's a
will.
witness.
Yes, we have a witness. We also have a police report, and that was made in 2018. That when she initially filed the police report, she didn't name Diddy out of fear of retaliation, and more importantly, fear that no one would believe her.
Right.
So she then updated that report, and we've been working with law enforcement to have them actually look into that report. They didn't do too much then, but now they are looking more closely at it.
All right. So let's
Okay, so like I said, yeah, it is definitely hard for people sometimes to believe victims right off the bat. And rightfully so, but in the midst of that, there are actual victims who have suffered and they get to be put under the bad reputation. That's why for all of the phony fake hoes who do the scam and shit, it does kind of take a hit or a notch at an actual victim's credibility, which is not right at all because then you have people not wanting to believe the actual victims from what some other person has done and they was on some scamming stuff. So now let me move over to this video. Like I said, it's in the same interview, but this I thought was important. And let me cue it up.
Was recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because.
wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. Back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
Yes.
the shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
And I, just being a little nosy like all of us are at this point, I want to know who has that videotape. Like, what did you do to get this videotape? Because if they were going around circulating in Hollywood, and you know what? That doesn't sound far-fetched at all because if they are talking about these freak off tapes, that lame ass name, freak off tapes are on the dark web, then there's probably no question that they were circulating around Hollywood and it was probably a joke among these so-called elites and everything, or probably one of those things that they watched. Because remember, 50 Cent had did an interview on the Breakfast Club, and I think he did say something about seeing a picture of Cassie or DVD or something like that. It's like I remember him saying that, and I believe that was on the Breakfast Club that he said that. Now I don't even know how that even came out in the way that it did, but it was one of those things like, dang, you just gonna put your girl out there, and this was before everything has come out now. So it made it seem like as if she was being really complicit and he's just showing everybody like, look at what she's doing and all of that, and everybody knows. So if that is going on, then this makes sense that there would be videos that's being shopped around.
To contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before. So like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow. Can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on.
No, I
tape.
can't explain who the person was, but
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video, and I can tell the video is pornographic in nature.
Oh my. All right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of activities at his home, did he? And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes. This was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video. So it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping.
Okay, so Diddy was in some type of freak off videotape with a person more high profiled than him. And she said she saw the still shots of the videotape. Yeah, I could see why those videotapes. Unfortunately, people are just trying to get their money. Like if the guy actually did go to her, or whoever, guy or girl, could have went to this attorney and said that they have a tape and they are trying to get the person who was in the video to actually buy the tape before they shop it around. As strange as it seems to me that the person would go to an attorney to set up that deal, maybe for Hollywood, it is not that strange at all. So I don't know. Do y'all believe that she's telling the truth? I mean, she is on News Nation. She's a lawyer. You don't really want to damage your credibility. It can hurt your money. So, what do you have to lie about? But I'm one of those people, until I see or hear enough evidence, it's always going to be allegedly for now. Let's play a little more of this. It is actually wrapping up, so let's play the rest of this.
Like they're being surreptitiously recorded.
All right. I wanted to ask you about the police report we talked about, but when your client came out, obviously the neighbor knew. Did she talk to her family? Did she talk to her friends? Did she have another lawyer? Let's go back to your client.
So at the time, as most rape victims are, they feel a lot of shame.
Absolutely.
And they don't want to vocalize what happened to them because then it makes it real. So they kind of internalize it and get over it. And due to the high profile nature that it was Mr. Combs who did this, she was afraid for her life. She was concerned that if she was to come forward and say something, that no one would believe her, because we're talking about 2018 when Mr. Combs was still pretty much at the height of his career, still very much so an icon and influential figure. So she's just a young girl from Northern California who's going to believe that he had done something to her like this. So she didn't tell anybody. She did not hire an attorney. All she did was make the police report in the hopes that maybe the police would try to investigate and come up with anything. But she said she kind of felt from the police that they were disregarding what she was saying, even without saying Mr. Combs' name.
And unfortunately, again, it does seem like, from what I've heard, that a lot of police tend to do that with victims of sexual assault. They're not quick to just jump right on it because maybe they think it is a he said, she said. So maybe they try to be slow to react. Who knows? But yeah, that is going to be it on this video. So instead of one new accuser, we have two new accusers that have come out against Sean Combs. What do you guys think about this? The story keeps unfolding daily. Make sure to leave your comments below. Like, share, subscribe, support the channel. And until next time, bye.